Thank you all so much for coming, one, to the Pet Summit, two, to the Lunch and Learn. Make sure that you got your food. Obviously, go back for seconds or thirds or fourths. We have plenty. This is Colleen. For everyone who doesn't know her, she is the mastermind behind Pets on Cue and the best in the business. So I'm going to let her take over and teach you everything you need to know.
Thanks, Megan. Okay, we're gonna skip. Oh, I just skipped 2 slides. Pretend that didn't happen. We're having an internet issue. Okay, so picture this. You guys are scrolling through social media like we all do every day, and you come across an account that makes you stop and watch it through the whole way, all the way to the very end. What is that thing that makes you stop? Was it a cute cat? Was it a dog breed, the same that you have at home? Or for me, was it a horse chiropractor being adjusted? Because I'm obsessed with those right now. My question to you all is, what draws you in? What makes you have that emotional connection to that account? Influencers have changed the way that not only us in the pet industry market, but how everyone is marketing to their audiences. It's changing the way that we are marketing to a pet-loving audience right now. We don't have a clicker, so we're gonna have to do it this way. I'm actually going to show you a video, and the internet's been funky, so hopefully it works. And then I'm going to give you a little bit about behind the scenes of this video. We got it to work a couple of times. Okay, we're going to have to try this again. But what this video is it really does tug at your heartstrings because it is a young golden, and then it showcases the golden that had passed away. There's also a beautiful song behind it, and that was the campaign that we were doing. It was for Joji. If has anyone heard of the artist Joji? He was trending on Spotify after this song came out. This was a trending song on TikTok for a while. This one influencer had 45 million views on that video. They paid for that campaign. They got thousands of followers from that partnership, as well as the artist had over 1 million people after we did that campaign use that song to create their own content. It was trending for over 6 months on Spotify, and is still a song that pops up on TikTok, which I'm sorry that the internet isn't working because it's a really cute video. Okay. So we're going to dive in a little bit into the difference between pet influencers and content creators. This is kind of a controversial topic between both sides, but I kind of do believe anyone that creates content online is a content creator. Pet influencers separate themselves out because they're able to influence someone's buying decision. They're able to influence you to listen to a soundtrack. They're able to get you off app to take an action on something. We're going to try this. Okay, so this is what we're going to be going over today. Before I do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. This is my dog, Charlie. He is fully deaf. He is my best friend, and he is the inspiration, like most brands here at Global, behind my company. When I rescued him, he had 4 homes before me, and he was a hot mess if you know anything about Dalmatians. They're really fun, but they're crazy. And he started booking some jobs. He had more followers than me in like 2 days. And that's when I realized something was happening in this industry, and people started reaching out to promote their products. I started as a side job. I was a private banker. I started helping other people do it as well, and we did GQ magazine and a few things with him, so he was becoming an animal actor as well, and I started seeing the behind the scenes of the animal actor industry, which is what really inspired me to start it, because there was just so much abuse, but the influencer stuff kind of took over, and this was 10 years ago when Pets on Cue was founded. And Pets on Cue now is a licensed, bonded, and insured agency, and we focus with animal actors along with influencers and creators. We've been in the industry, like I said, 10 years. We are the only ones in it that are a licensed agency, which is really exciting. I hate walking back, I'm sorry guys. So some fun facts about our company as well, and myself. Melissa and I, if you've ever worked with us, Melissa is the COO of our company. We started a TV show on Netflix called Pet Stars. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's really fun. It's really fun to do. We created a platform called Pet Influencer AI, where that's where the valuation of pet influencers stands. So we created that because the human influencer and pet influencer ROI is a bit different. I also have, like, what was the other point? I went through that. My mission, and yeah, my favorite job that I've ever done is working with Taylor Swift, for any Swiftie here, she's great. She was really fun to work with. We have Pet Stars Academy now, which is a learning tool for influencers and animal actors to get more help. And we are launching the Animalist on April 11th, and that is a new marketplace to help animal talent get booked. So we're trying to make it more open and transparent. Now, before I can tell you about what's happening in the market today, I have to go back in time and tell you what has happened over the past few years. See, pre-COVID, there weren't that many pet influencers in the space. Relative to what it is today, it's actually ×3 what it is, even more than that if you go all the way down to nano influencers, because people started spending a significant amount more time on social media. And when that happened, brands at the same time, all of their marketing budgets got cut. They were cut, they couldn't do events, they couldn't do anything in person, they couldn't do any commercials, so no commercials were filmed and nothing was happening. Everyone's eyes were on social media, so the budgets on social media skyrocketed. And that was what kind of kickstarted everything. I mean, during COVID were our best years. Influencers were raking in the dough and they could charge whatever they wanted because there wasn't much supply of any other influencers, but that changed very, very quickly. Then new influencers kind of started skyrocketing in the industry, and it's a new age influencer. So we have like the pre-COVID influencer and the post-COVID influencer and how that's all changed. Since COVID has ended, supply and demand changed. So brands' budget, they went back to normal. It went back to commercials, went back to marketing as well in other areas, and went back to in-person events. And so influencer budgets were cut significantly post-COVID. So with their budgets down and with a massive increased supply of influencers, people that were more willing to do posts for free, people that were willing to do things for less, those influencers were the ones that we started to see getting the jobs beat out. So, and I just had this fun little video, which my videos aren't working, so there we go. Awesome, thank you. So we kind of have this disconnect right now in the industry, but it is coming back together, and we are seeing that now, which is really, really exciting. What is happening? Why am I stuck on this video? Guys, I swear I was never having technical issues before this all happened. Okay. So the U.S. influencer marketing numbers, this was from 2023. You can take pictures of them, but I'm gonna give you guys access to the slides at the end anyway. So you don't have to do all of them if you don't want to. But so Instagram was significantly king. We were seeing far more money being spent on Instagram over the past few years. Since then, that has changed. I really need a clicker. Okay, so this is the projections for this year. Now, obviously, there's been some things with TikTok, so I'm not taking that into consideration. But this was a survey done, and what we've seen is brands are significantly spending more money and more time with TikTok as of this year. We knew it was coming because of the trends, but this is significantly higher than what we even expected. Okay, brand account preferences have also changed, and everything's gonna tie together, I swear, at the end. The nano influencers and brands wanting to work with smaller influencers has increased so significantly. It has been micro influencers was the highest booked account, and it has since gone to nano influencers. And that was actually a little shocking to me when I got these stats. Because I'm an agency, I think I'm biased because we do have larger influencers, but yeah. Okay. And I think this slide overall was the most mind-blowing to me. If you think about it, 11 billion hours are spent on social media every day across the world. 11 billion hours. It's like more than a lifetime. It's crazy. Every single day. And the influencer marketing spend is projected to be 24 billion by 2025. I'll answer questions at the end, yeah. by 2025. Now, the pet side of that industry is much less. So pet industry can make up between 8 and 10% of the market. However, brands are not just hiring pet influencers, they're hiring human influencers as well, and vice versa. Influencers are also working on human campaigns like beds and whatnot. And my favorite fact of this whole thing is that 49%, and this is great if you're an influencer and a brand, the fact that you need to know is buying decisions have also changed. 49% of buyers are making their buying decisions because of things that they saw and people that they trusted on social media. So that is a really strong number to know as a brand and as an influencer, that you guys have power, and the brands need to recognize that your audience and where they're learning about things, where they're trying to buy things. This is why TikTok has blown up so many small brands, and it's been really amazing for small businesses here. That 49% of people are, not 40% of people coming off of Google, but people are leaving Google. They're not going to Google as a search engine as much anymore. They're relying on social media, and they're relying on the people that are influencing them on their buying decisions. Okay, brands' main purpose for running influencer campaigns has also shifted. In past years, it's really been between sales and brand awareness. That's kind of what we've always focused on, and as of this year, it's over 50% of brands are working on influencer campaigns for a different reason. They're working on them for UGC. UGC is user-generated content, meaning that they are getting content and obtaining content, which is also to post on their own social media, not for the person to post necessarily. Which is why I believe that they're going to more nano influencers. So that is a really big shift in the market for people to get around. 49% people believe that it is the right thing to do to be paying influencers. 24 believe in affiliate or a percentage of sales. So meaning that if a brand gives you a product, that whenever you sell it to someone, that you are going to be receiving a percentage back of those sales. And then the final percentage, just 19, just wants to give them free product. And like, we've done that too, and those campaigns are typically like the 200 plus products that they are usually small businesses and they can't do that, can't pay. Okay, this is a fun one. Pet influencers versus human influencers. Does everyone remember the Kendall Jenner controversy with Pepsi? Does anyone not know what that is? Because my team was like, not everyone knows. Okay, cool. Okay. So what happened on this commercial was she got a lot of backlash for this commercial. I don't need to go into the details of it, right? But she got a lot of backlash, so much so that Pepsi lost loyal customers. They lost buyers. They lost a lot because of this commercial. It raised such a stink for them. Human influencers have stronger ROI for brands. They have stronger conversion rates. That's what that means for brands. However, the controversy that they can have is also much higher. The risk for brands is also higher than a pet influencer. Like, who wouldn't want a Budweiser after looking at this cute basset hound, right? It's Dean the Basset. He's a great account. Pet influencers also, they have pros and cons. So they have a lower ROI for brands. They charge less for brands. Because of that ROI. However, the biggest perk that pet influencers have is that they have a 32% on average higher engagement rate. So what that means is overall their audience are more engaged. They have more views on average. The average engagement rate that we have for pet influencers is significantly higher than the average human engagement rate. And this is on the global industry average. So pet influencers really do destroy human influencers on that side. So meaning that you get more views, more brand awareness, and less expensive with a pet influencer. So I always vote go pet influencer. There is some crossover though. There are a lot of accounts right now, like a Rachel Fusaro, who is here, that she's in the pet industry. She is talking about pet nutrition. Her pets are in the content, that she does overlap between the two, where there's a human and a pet in there. And that's tending to be a fast growing account for what brands are looking for with us. Okay, here is a pricing chart. Don't worry, I'll give you all the slides. You guys can have that. So here's an average pricing chart. We basically took engagement rate, average engagement rates to help out and give you a range per follower. And also per social media account. So you'll see here, TikTok is valued far less than Instagram. And Facebook and YouTube do charge a lot. Like, look at those big numbers if you have millions of followers over there. Going into technology. Now I have to be biased in this because this is my platform and I developed it. I'm not here to sell you on it because it's an internal tool. It's really just to explain how emerging technologies and data is changing the industry, because it has completely changed my company and what we do. So when we're looking to hire a influencer, or we're looking to partner with someone, there are different metrics that the brands will want. And these are things that if a brand asks to send you their analytics because they're looking for something specific, or if a marketing firm is talking to a brand, they might say, I need them to have 50% US audience. I need them to have a demographic of over 70% female, because females are a stronger buying audience, which another benefit of pet influencers is on average over 70% female audience, which is much stronger for us, so that's great. And then, so what our platform does is it will pull the follower count, the engagement rate, and calculate out the quality audience. And what that means to you is, or for a brand hiring you, is how solid is your audience and how likely are they to purchase something. Now, sometimes we can get quality audience that is even higher than that account. Does anyone know why that happens? Or anyone guess? Yeah? It happens when someone is going viral, when they're on the FYP page a lot. They're kind of taking off, and we know those accounts are the ones that we know are kind of going to be the next thing. They're the ones that have such high engagement, and those are the ones that typically end up converting more sales. So they want to see a high engagement rate. Now, we track the demographic, geographic information over here. We also can track fake followers. And a lot of brands, and I mean, even influencers, like all of you guys that are here, like people know there are accounts that have millions of followers. Actually, that's my next slide, so that charge different prices. So we're gonna take this example of 3 accounts. This was all for one campaign that we received these offers from influencers. And all those pictures are Canva pictures and they're fake, they're not real influencers. So what we did in this was all for a very real campaign, but the first influencer has around the national average for influencers for engagement rate. Their quality audience is pretty solid, and their price point came right within the range for that campaign of what they should be charging. Now, it was a pretty small campaign. The second influencer has a higher engagement rate, reaches around 14,000 more people in the terms of quality audience, meaning that their video views, their photos are hitting a stronger audience, and their price point is less than half of the first one. Who do we think a brand's gonna choose, right? And then the third influencer is someone that comes in with 100,000 followers. They have around 1% engagement rate. Their quality audience that they're hitting is less than half of the others, and look at the price point that they were charging us for it. And they have done other paid campaigns. They have other paid campaigns, so those brands were not really looking at the data and analytics, and then they're not getting the conversions on the back end, and it gives a bad name for, it puts a bad taste in the mouth for brands wanting to work with influencers, and it makes it harder for you guys who are good influencers trying to book jobs because they're, oh, this influencer, we paid this much money, and they didn't have a sale. And well, it's like, well, we know why, but it's been really tough for a lot of people and trying to get these jobs and trying to overcome that hurdle for both sides. Okay. Okay, well, this video is definitely not gonna work. So, okay, so it's, they're basically separating. I do think that things are starting to come back together, and that's been really, really good for the industry. So overall, what do I think is going to happen? Here are the trends and insights. Here are the good things to look forward to. I do overall, has anyone been, I mean, everyone's been out at Global already, but have you seen all the AI in the banners and stuff? Has anyone noticed that? So I do see the utilization and normalization of AI, and that's going to change this industry a lot as well. In a good and bad way. Change is never, change happens. Database technology, kind of what I went through before. I think that more brands are aware of what's happening now, and they're far more interested now in the data. They're far more interested in the analytics of what influencers are putting out. They don't want people that are in pods anymore. They want people that have more of an authentic audience. They want people, that's what they're coming to us with. I also see an increase in auto posting and multi-live sites. So auto posting is if you post on TikTok or Instagram, and then it will automatically post on YouTube. It'll automatically post for you on other platforms to help save creators time and brands time as well. on social media, and it'll pull the captions as well, and you can automate some of that. Multi-live sites, I've used one of those where you are live on LinkedIn at the same time on YouTube, at the same time maybe Instagram, and you can see all the comments on one platform. So you're still answering all the comments at once. And I see the increased use of that because lives have become so much bigger. Now, I do see the rise of TikTok. Let's see if a video works. That would be, because this whole thing was really fun to put together. And in all my practicing, that was great. Okay, great. So I do see the rise of TikTok still. I know with what's happening with Congress and China probably not allowing the tech to come to us, it could go away in the next 6 months. However, before that happens, I still think that TikTok is going to remain the stronger player. We are seeing much higher engagement rates on all of the influencers on TikTok. We are seeing higher conversion rates on sales, and brands overall are preferring that type of content right now. Okay, that leads me to my next point, authenticity in social media. Some of these videos are so cute. Okay. So we are all recognizing, everyone can tell when you're on social media when it's an ad, right? Can anyone not tell when it's an ad? Like, you can tell, and most people will just swipe right by. So brands have started to recognize that again. You don't, and marketers and influencers. So what we're doing is being more creative in the way that we're promoting content. There's more product placement happening, like in movies. There's more authenticity happening in when someone is promoting something, they're explaining it to you in a way that you can trust them as a person telling you, like, hey, I'm a certified veterinary nutritionist, and this is why I believe this kind of food will work for your pug. This is why this kind of food will work for your Maine Coon. And here's why, and here's the information, and maybe why you shouldn't buy another one. And you're kind of having a conversation or watching someone who feels like a friend, as opposed to being sold to on something where they're offering multiple products, multiple recommendations. And just overall being more authentic. Gone are the days that you can be an influencer and you can post 8 different foods types in a year, because every audience knows you can't switch your pet's food up like that. They're gonna get sick. And that's one, not good for them. And so they're just in it for the money. And your audience starts to recognize that and not trust you anymore. And I don't want that to happen to anyone here. So what I want to happen is for you to be authentic, to be promoting products that you enjoy, that you love to promote. And be authentic with your content. Not saying that these all are, these are very commercial type accounts. Okay, so photo versus video. Video is definitely the strongest thing that we're seeing right now with brands hiring. All brands are kind of wanting video content. However, that's not to say that people are not hiring with photos. All brands need photos. Like, there are campaigns that we've done that the photos are at the booths because they got better photos from the influencers than they did from, you know, the professional paid campaign that they did. So if I were in your shoes and as a brand, I think having a combination of both, but knowing that video still is going to have a stronger conversion rate right now. Now, will that change in the future? Maybe. People could be sick of ads in the future like that, but overall, I still see video being king. Now, on social media, SEO and SEO-based platforms like the TikToks, like the YouTubes of the world, or Pinterest of the world, are the ones that are going to grow really quickly. And I mean, even if TikTok is banned, those are the other two that I think people are going to go to. SEO is search engine optimization. Those are the ones that when you put you put text on videos or text on photos and people can search for you. That is going to continue to improve. That's going to continue to get better, and you should be utilizing that to the best of your ability. And if you don't know anything about that, you really need to do some research on it and make sure that you are optimizing your content to the best of your ability and to the best of your followers. Because people are using social media more and more for buying decisions, I only see that increasing. I said before, less and less people are going to Google, less and less people are going to websites to learn that information. They are going to social media. If you want to learn the best food for your dog, you're not going to go spend time anymore going between Purina and Mars and Farmer's Dog and all these other platforms. You're going to go online to social media. What's the best food today for your dog? Like, what maybe you're putting in other things that you believe in. Maybe you believe in raw, maybe you believe in kibble, maybe you believe in one veterinarian that's posting on social media, and that's where you're going, and that is where your audience is going to learn those things as well. So if you have a key to what your audience wants, I would hone in on that, right? Okay, I do see more opportunities increasing this year. I think last year was a hard year for a lot of influencers and also a good year for some influencers, but I do see it improving. We've already seen much positive numbers this year than we had last year at this time, and we do see things growing. There's more opportunities, there's more paid opportunities and non-paid opportunities just coming in, especially after conferences like this. So brands are looking to work with influencers here, so I definitely recommend getting out there and speaking to some awesome people. Okay, I also do think for benefits of brands that creators are offering more transparent and stronger portfolios, which is what my entire team, we have puns for everything. So instead of a portfolio or media kit, we call it a petfolio because we primarily work with pet accounts or groomers and whatnot. So we call it petfolio, so I'm not mispronouncing. And what I mean by that is they're offering transparency around this is what a video post costs, this is what a story post costs, any add-ons if you're using whitelisting, if they're offering different ad rights and monthly, if they're offering 3 months exclusivity versus 6 months exclusivity. People are more knowledgeable of the terminology, and they're offering add-ons to brands, and they're being very transparent on those packages. So while one brand and a small brand might hire you for one video and one story, and that might be $400 for something or $200, but the brand might just want you for UGC, and hiring and offering whitelisting rights for a year could be $1,000 in there. I also see with all of the trends happening, the rise of whitelisting for brands. We've seen such a significant jump in this that has completely changed the market, that brands are getting UGC or user-generated content from influencers, nano-influencers, and even non-influencers, and they're just hiring for the content and not reposting, and then taking that content and either whitelisting it out to your audience or a similar audience, or they're placing an ad on it as well on their own social media page. And that has been a significant increase over the past, believe year. That's kind of where the trends are going. And all of these are campaigns that we've done, just for transparency. Okay, so this is our newest platform, and you guys are the first to hear it unless you were at my other presentation earlier yesterday. But this is what we're offering to try to make the industry more accessible, to give opportunities to more influencers, and to have brands and give brands an easier access to a variety of content creators and other types of working animals, or any type of animals. So whether you need a horse ride for your kid's birthday party, or you need an alpaca to walk you down the aisle, this is kind of our new marketplace. But obviously we're prioritizing influencers and creators because that's what we do. We offer whitelisting rights, and all the terms are in there for brands, free casting calls for brands for you to apply to them as influencers. We are offering a variety of things in this, and it is coming out on National Pet Day. And if you want access to the slides and first access to the animal list, this is the QR code to scan. But I am happy to open it up for questions if anyone has any. Oh, sorry. This is great. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
For the animal influencers, you mentioned micro now and the nano, et cetera.
Yeah.
What are the numbers?
I'll pull up that slide. Hold on, so you guys can see. Is everyone done just scanning it? Is there anyone else that needs? Okay. Hold on, let me pull up that slide because it has it right here. That was on the pricing slide. So nano influencers, it's small. Can you read it? I can read it out. Nano influencers, 1,000 to 10,000. Micro influencers is from 10 to 50,000. Mid-tier, 50 to 500. Macro, 500 to 1,000. And any mega influencers over 1,000. And this is across all social platforms. So, I mean, what our platform does is if they have 1,000 followers on TikTok and 500,000 on Instagram, it merges them together. So that's kind of how we do it, but you can separate it out as well. Yep. Yeah.
Piggyback on it. Does the platform have does it show a CPM? like, do they put the content in and does it, like, give you a report of CVAD and, like, CPM?
That was not me. So we have our internal tool, but the new marketplace does not have that. So the influencers, they can post, brands can review them, so you'll get reviews back from brands already. And the influencers can upload that information into their package or photo or anything.
Yeah, that's what these videos working with. That's what you see brands want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly do those.
Yeah. Yeah, so our internal tool, Pet Influencer AI, we track the quality audience. And when we're working with brand, I mean, that's a tough one, because when you're working with brands, if it's an affiliate program, like they typically track it themselves. So we haven't had the need for it, but there's so many apps. What do you guys use?
For tracking?
To track it, yeah.
So we track all of it internally. Like,
Yeah.
just-
Manually?
Yeah,
Yeah.
manually. We were using, in fact, we did use Pets on Q.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so we kind of bounced
I
around
remember.
between Pets on Q, and we're not using Impact anymore.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Complicated, but yeah, the payout has been like a
Yeah.
conversation. It's
Yeah.
with
What
our
we
internal-
tried to do is take what's happening in the industry for the animalists, so for the payout specifically. So and this also happens in the animal actor space too, so it's kind of across both. But the issue with some influencers, and for brands as well, so some influencers will ghost brands, which like makes other influencers look really bad, right? And vice versa. There have been times that some brands have ghosted influencers and the smaller ones when they're not through something like us, right? Which obviously we always pay, right? So on the Animalist, we have a platform that it has to hold a card first, and then when the job is done and completed and the person does it, then it automatically goes to their bank account. Like we don't even touch their money, it goes right out. But what was your other question? I only answered the second one. Yeah, the CPA. Yeah. It just is. We're just trying to make overall, I think, the industry more transparent. I think what some influencers are charging with the follower count that they have and whatnot, it's been really difficult for I think both parties. It's astronomical compared to what it was a couple of years ago, because some influencers, they're just adding on their pricing. Every time you talk to them, it's a higher price point. And then while others have no idea what they're doing. So like you saw on that graph, the best one was at $500. That's a real campaign. And one of the worst ones in there that isn't reaching a big audience, they're charging the most. And out of all the influencers, they were by far the most booked. So for brands to be able to transparently see some of that information, we're just trying to make it more accessible and just overall transparent, because it's hard for even influencers to see each other's rates. Like if you have an influencer that you know your account's similar to, and you can see you both have 50,000 followers, and you both are hitting 2,000 views per video or 3,000, and sometimes you're going viral and sometimes you're not. Maybe you need to pull up your rates for some things and whatnot. So then everyone can kind of see what you're doing, and brands can find you easily. That's the biggest concern that we have with brands, is like finding influencers. We actually did a survey, and the top 2 issues that brands were having, number 1 was ease to work with. It's difficult for them to find influencers that are good and find influencers that are easy to overall work with. It's a hard job running an influencer campaign, as you know, and as many people know. It's hard to work with them, and if they're not pleasant to work with and not easy to work with, 90% of brands on that survey said ease of working with them was their number 1. Another 90% was budget transparency and budget adaptability, because sometimes brands have their budget might have been cut a little bit, they might be kind of in a tight spot, but they might like working with one influencer and be offering a little bit lower rate, but kind of with the promise that they want to come back, right? So those were the top 2. And professionalism was another one that was high up, but yeah. Okay, next question. Anyone? Yeah.
How are the platforms doing SEO optimization now? Is it still primarily around hashtags, or is it?
No. Yeah, hashtags is still one. Within the videos on TikTok, so like if you're looking at a TikTok video, what a lot of people will do is they minimize what the caption or what a search engine optimization would be. So like if I'm posting a video about dog food, right? I would put in little text on the video, so like a TikTok app would pull that, and for anyone searching, what's the best kind of dog food for my dog? Because that's one of the most searched items. And I also put dog food, I might also put Bet's dog food, I might also put like a few other things in that and make it really small and move it off to the side so you can't see it. And then those are the ones that are being pulled up. That is more view. Text on the videos, the caption on the videos as well, that's also really helpful. That's for TikTok. On Pinterest, it's a lot of text. That's what they're pulling. Pinterest is a great app for that. Any other questions? This is great. Thanks, guys. Put this up, or pull this up. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I missed you.
What do you mean by whitelisting?
Whitelisting?
Yeah, with brands.
Okay, so does everyone know, or does anyone else not know what whitelisting is? There's a great presentation yesterday about it as well. And I thought I saw her here. Yeah, you're great. So whitelisting is one of the phrases used, or allow listing, as we learned yesterday, that brands will use when they get your content and they're going to promote out to your audience. They're going to use your page and promote it out to your audience. So they're going to put ad spend behind it on top of your page. So, there's obviously pros and cons to everything. For whitelisting, we typically charged extra for it. But what whitelisting does as well is also promotes you out to a little larger audience that's very similar to yours too, to get you a little bit more exposure. So some influencers, when they're doing that, they don't charge extra for that because they like extra exposure, but most do charge a little extra. Does that make sense? Do you need more explanation? Okay, perfect. Anyone else? Yeah.
I have a social SEO is my next seminar. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, go social SEO to go to her seminar. Yeah, she was great. Honestly, I attended your other one and it was really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This was amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yours was great too. We need to chat more. Is there anyone else? Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on TikTok Shop and like how it is playing with pet influencers.
How it's playing with pet influencers?
Yeah, it's like, is it a viable route to go down?
Oh, yeah.
Like more for content creators, right?
Yeah.
Influencers.
More than content creators and influencers. I think influencers as well. I think everyone's in that category. Who uses TikTok Shop? Anyone? Show of hands. Who uses TikTok Shop? That you promote products on TikTok Shop, right? Yeah, you do too. So we've had some micro and nano influencers make more money with TikTok Shop than any other campaign that they've done. So my thoughts on it, because I've witnessed it with other influencers, is quite positive. I have an account that has under 20,000 followers that we're working with right now, and she is spearheading TikTok Shop. She does lives all the time. And she just loves it. She's obsessed with it. She reviews mommy content and pet content. It's a pet page, but baby, right? So she does both. And every single month, she is generating $6,000 to $15,000 in sales for her partners, and she's making thousands of dollars on it. She makes more on TikTok Shop than any other platform. She doesn't really care to do any brand deals because she does better with TikTok Shop right now. Not to say every influencer does do well with TikTok Shop. I personally think it's very quick for you to purchase something. And there are pros and cons to it. But overall, the influencers that I know have had such a great experience with it. And if you do it right, there's a lot of people out there that are scamming you with, let me send you my product. And then, it just is, it's a weird, has anyone else gotten all the weird messages from TikTok Shop? Yeah, okay. So like she goes through all of them and she messaged all of them, and that takes a lot of time, and she's building this account, but overall to be pretty consistently making, with under 20,000 followers, at least 2,000 a month, and there are some months where she's pulling in 10 grand. I think that's pretty good, but she invests a lot of time into it, like a significant amount of time. So if you have that time, I think it can be a great resource, but I would right now maybe wait and see what happens with TikTok and what's happening. Yeah. Anything else? Sorry, I didn't see you. Yeah.
It's really easy to get whitelisted on TikTok Shop. Like,
Yeah.
I get a lot of whitelistings with TikTok
Yeah. The one caveat to that we have also just found is that we've actually had a lot of brands, they use the Spark code and then they take off your affiliate. So they promote it and then they don't. You haven't? Oh, that's good.
I will look out for that.
Yeah, please look out for that. When you give this Spark code over, then sometimes they'll shut off the ad rev to you and they take it themselves. So that's something to note, that if you're doing something and there's really nothing you can do about it unless you have a contract with that company. But yes, look out for that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hi, Megan. Yeah.
Okay, I saw on your pricing sheet that Facebook
Yeah.
got the most money.
Yeah.
That's like shocking to me.
Shocking. It's shocking. Yeah, but honestly, like, brands are not paying for it. They don't really care about Facebook.
Yeah. Is
Right
that
now?
what people are charging?
That's what people, well, that's the industry average for Facebook. Facebook is to an older audience, an audience that has some more money. So it kind of took off and people never brought down their pricing. But honestly, I've been in the industry for 10 years and Facebook is on that list, the one we work with the least. Like, brands don't care about Facebook, for at least in the pet space, for what I've seen. Maybe Facebook ads, but not for paying influencers direct because I think of the price points. So maybe that could be why. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes.
How can we stray away from the aspect of trade for product, trade for those type of collaborations when you don't see that it would be a long-term thing from a brand?
I think when you're building out your portfolio, your media kit or your profile, I think offering out posts for product every once in a while is okay. Like, I don't ever want, and it's like, as an agency, I never want to tell my clients what they can or can't promote. The product type, or what, if someone wants to do a post for product, like, I mean, we recently did a campaign with Swift Paws, right? It's their cheapest option is $300, next option is $500, and the option above that's $800. And for accounts that had less than 20,000 followers, getting an $800 unit is one of the bigger campaigns they've ever done. That's a post for free product. However, to get away from that, I think using that to build out your portfolio, your petfolio, I think is smart. However, I think when you're communicating back and forth to a brand, I think being transparent in your first email, like, what we always do is, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I love your product, it's awesome. Here's my petfolio. And you link over to what your valuations could be, what your price points are, where your analytics are, where all that, like the media kit that I saw of yours. Yeah, that would be where I would go. So they know that you're a professional, you're someone, and I could say like 70% of them are never even gonna respond. But having that email and having even an automated email that some people have, like that TikToker does now because she gets so many, she's like, hey, only reach out to me if these prices are okay. Right? So I would slowly use them at first, get some free products. The other thing that you also want to consider that I've been seeing online is that some brands are going to be billing you for that and 1099ing you for that, which is ridiculous for free products. So I would just make sure that you're doing the ones that you absolutely love and absolutely want to do, use it, put it into a petfolio, and then slowly build up from that. And I would charge low and then just see how the market goes and then increase up to where your industry average rates should be. Yeah, and the rates change all the time, like constantly. Our rates now are very different from what they were 6 months ago. Yes?
I don't know if this is on topic, but I know you'll know the answer.
Okay.
I see more and more posts where the ads, and they're definitely an ad, and they're tagging the designer of the sweater on the dog or what have you, but they're not writing ad or affiliate or partnership or anything like that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything, thoughts on that? And
Too many thoughts on that. Too long for this conversation. No, so it's part of the FTC's guidelines. So those accounts can be fined and banned a significant amount. So if you receive product for free and you do not disclose that, you can have your account kicked off. If you need to say like, hey, it needs to be very clear to the audience that you received a product for free in exchange for posting on social media. If you do not do that, you can be banned and you can have a fine. So I would definitely make sure you're reading the FTC's guidelines. For sure. So if you receive any product for free, affiliate, you also need to disclose that. Any ad, you need to have ad or sponsored or have it be linked to the brand. If you don't do that, you can get in a lot of trouble, so make sure you do. Guys, the lighting is, hey, now we know the culprit. one more. You go.
Just FYI, I was talking about that in my session today, at 3 o'clock. But Colleen, I actually have, I mean, the affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
But, so I had a friend reach out to me, or actually, I reached out to a brand that I use for my dog for a UTI chronic sort of urinary problem. And I reached out to them because I really believe in them, I really love to work with them. And they have an agency who handles their stuff. The agency responded very professionally, but they were asking so much in exchange for a free product.
Yeah.
It was, I couldn't believe how much
Yeah.
they wanted.
Thanks so much. Here are my rates. Like I want the product for a certain amount, but like I can't do it for that. Like here are my rates. I would love to work with you, but that's a lot of work.
Well,
Like-
I went on the show floor and talked to somebody at the company, and I said, yeah, I'd really love to work with you guys. And
Yeah.
there's this chronic issue that my dog has, and your product's recommended by the vet, I've been buying it online.
Yeah.
And he said, well,
Yeah, I think I would tell them that. Like, tell them that. Brands, I mean, I said this in my last presentation, brands love the emotional stories that you guys have. They love that. They, like, your dog suffers from UTIs. Like, you have to use a product like that. And I could explain this to my audience really well because they've been following my journey. If you're able to do that and get that out to your audience and explain that to them, that's valuable to them. That's valuable to a brand, and they should be paying you for that. And I'm fine. I'm not going to knock anyone that does post for free product. Like, I think you got to do what you got to do to build up. But it comes to a certain point. If you're not willing to do the work, like, I mean, you're a lawyer. You don't work for free.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give probably the change the product, but what
Yeah.
they were asking
Yeah.
is so much.
Yeah. So you can tell them, like, this is what I'm willing to do for free. Anything else on top of that, this is what I will charge. Yeah. I just think transparency. Yeah. I wouldn't be afraid. Rip off the Band-Aid and email them. Like, you got to be nice and, like, be transparent. Yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you. I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all coming and being here. This was really great. And I hope to meet you all on the showroom floor.